Hi YouTubers, and I'm back for another What Would Have Happened If This Weren't Real Life with RhinoTMRTGamePlay series YouTube video. Now, I kind of wanted to do this one because, it kind of felt like a new, turn for me, and sort of like a new different turn for me. Please note that today's Wednesday's YouTube video is still going to be 12 minutes long, just as promised before. And because I'm working on it, I do hope it works before sometime later today. If this doesn't work right now, well, I'm guessing, well, at least I hope it does. Then I'll probably be able to do more of this and then in sometime later in the future. So yeah. I mean, I kind of do have a long time to do all this, so yeah. So, anyways, this is what would have happened if the adventure if the or this is what would have happened if the origins of McMissile and Shiftwell, a Cars story movie were in real life. Now we come into the beginning where, of course, now this takes place. Now this Cars 2 prequel spin-off movie idea actually takes place, actually takes place sometime before the Cars 2 movie. So this will sort of like tell what they've been doing during what Finn and Holly are doing during what they were doing during the Cars 1 movie. Now, I actually kind of like this idea because, it's something new, something totally different, and yeah, I guess it kind of does make sense for me to do all this, and yeah, I guess it kind of does now that I think about it. Besides, I did a prequel, I think I did a spin-off movie, Metro Man, Megamind spin-off movie idea sometime in the future. And we have 10 minutes left on this one, so why not start it off? So, yeah, we cut open to the beginning where Finn and Holly are all like, we're all like, how they both met. So this is focusing on how they both met and how they took down another person, and how they both met as agents and how they both, put an end to about how they put an end to someone bad, one of the bad guys, and how they meet a new one, which I guess kind of does make a lot of sense. So yeah, this will probably be explained further more into that. So Finn is all like he needs another sidekick. So Finn is all like he needs another sidekick, knowing that he can't do spy and agent stuff alone. So then he keeps looking for a sidekick and goes around the whole entire world, well, except for Radiator Springs, because they never knew about Radiator Springs until when Mater told them about it, and they both got there in the second movie before the ending of the second movie. So that won't be introduced or mentioned in there. So this is something totally different. It's going to, instead, this prequel spin-off movie idea is actually going to focus more on is actually going to take place sometime during or before the events before or during the events of or some before, during, or after the events of Cars 1. So yeah, that's kind of the idea that I wanted to go for. And besides, it felt like a perfectly new idea for me to go on. So yeah, it would be the origin adventures of McMissile and Shiftwell, a Cars story movie. Which of course I kind of wanted it to be like that. So yeah. Anyways, Finn McMissile is all like, oh, I have to save that same person. You know that same person, the one that told them the one that made her, Finn and Holly, how the one that they kidnapped in that area and towed to the other area. Well, he also makes an appearance in this one where it reimagines finally shows us the scene of Finn McMissile saving the guy who made her towed to the warehouse that they were going to in the second film. So if you do remember that scene where Finn, Holly, and Mater are all like taking a guy to a warehouse, If you remember that scene from the, that guy they took away, the guy that they took in the Cars 2 scene, then you'll know what I'm saying. So that guy, which of course I don't remember his name, is eventually saved by Finn McMissile, and then of course thanks him, and that's sort of like the idea. And then of course Finn McMissile goes back, and then he finds out that there are plenty of, and then he says to himself that there's plenty of agent fish in the sea, which I guess kind of is a very great, which I guess in my opinion could be one of the best iconic quotes created by me. You know what I mean, right? So Finn McMissile eventually finds out that there's another agent on another mission trying trying to destroy other agents. So it's sort of like it's sort of like how like there's like an evil agent who actually wants to destroy Finn and Holly, which of course, and then control all of them to turn on them. So which I actually think is a good idea. But not only that, but it also feels very original to me, which I guess kind of does make a lot of sense. Of course, Finn is all like Finn in his talking plane eventually set their coordinates to you guessed it, Japan. So Japan is actually where this evil agent is, and then it just so happens that Holly is also the one with the train, the one in Holly who actually got there by that talking train from the Cars 2 movie, actually actually gave them both there. So one of them is going by plane and the other is going by train. So honestly, I kind of like this idea. And then here we meet the evil agent guy. The evil agent, so yeah, I'm just going to call him the evil agent guy, or the EAG. The EAG for short. So EAG wishes to control all the other agent people, just like Finn and Holly, and use them against them. Yeah, but little do they know that they don't know but little does he not know that they don't know each other, and that he's using them against two people that they don't even know each other up until that point. So yeah, I guess it kind of does make sense. So Finn eventually goes through there, and then he goes through like sort of like a town, and then Holly goes through one area, and then suddenly they meet up together, and then of course they realize that they need to stop the EAG, evil agent guy. So they of course eventually chase after him in one of the most best in one of the best plane scene in one of the best plane chase scenes of all time, which in my opinion there would be the best plane chase scenes of all time. So this is sort of like the idea. I mean, yes, of course there would be like other scenes, like yes, of course there would be sort of like a background to Finn and Holly and from Cars 2. I mean, sure, their backstory would also be introduced into this movie, but I just wanted to add like this part. It will be introduced in like a flashback later. And then of course we see Finn who's telling Holly about his backstory, and about how his parents, who were also agents as well, about how Finn's parents, who were also agents as well, were destroyed by the EAG, evil agent guy. And then of course the same thing happens for Holly. However, there is no romantic stuff, because remember Mater's the one who falls in love with Holly and not Finn. So there isn't sort of like a romantic, like, a girlfriend or boyfriend relationship. So there isn't sort of like that between them. So, but sort of like a friendship between them. So there kind of isn't sort of like that, which I guess kind of does make sense. In order for it to make sense for the Cars 2 movie, that's probably how it would work out. Then of course they find EAG, and then they of course find out that he moved to a different location of the world. So they go to different places throughout the entire world. Again, this is nothing like the Chipmunk Adventure 2 movie that I came up with. Again, this is nothing like that. And they go through like different areas up until when they go to one area, which is actually Wisconsin. So so Holly, who's all like, so Finn, who's all like, so Finn, who sees that Holly is, not easily able to get up anymore, he realizes that it's not worth it, and that the EAG, evil agent guy, has already won. But it turns out the EAG was actually wrong. Was actually the wrong one, and that Finn actually found his true sidekick. And Finn calls Holly his true sidekick, true one and only sidekick agent, sidekick agent. And then of course both Finn and Holly go through one big epic fight and battle scene towards EAG. And then there's this scene where where they both succeed to each other. Evil agent guy is eventually sent to prison, and then of course Finn and Holly celebrate and have their own happy ending, and then everything is all very great. And then of course the two of them all live happily ever after. The end. And then we get a post-credits scene where it basically just shows the a young Professor Z, who, a much younger version of Professor Z from Cars 2 actually hears about the whole, evil agent guy being gone. And then, of course, a young Professor Z, who is the same character from the Cars 2 movie, but much more younger, actually idolizes the evil agent guy, and then, of course, they both like, young Professor C says, evil agent guy, I will be a better evil villain to these agents, Finn McMissile and Holly Schiffwell. Trust me, I will succeed where you have failed, for I will revolutionize the gas industry. So yeah, and I guess that's it. Yeah, and then Carter Black, he has an evil laugh, and then of course that was my take on what would have happened if the origin adventures of Holly and Finn, a Cars story movie were in real life. Now I kind of liked doing this one because it kind of felt very great and good and all that. And I wanted to try something new and all. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for today. Peace out. Bye bye.